Hello, and welcome back to week 6 of our Pokemon Draft League tournament we're doing here. This week I am playing Kate of the something Articunos, the Azalea Town Articunos, that's the name. This is week 2 of my personal have more than 40 turns in a single battle session, so it's going to be a fun one for you today. Let's get it started. I was pretty busy this week, so I didn't have enough time to prep as much as I would have liked, which is going to come up pretty soon and actually throughout the rest of this battle. But I figured out I could send out my new T-Rex Tyranitar out here. With the sand coming up, he's going to have pretty good special defense, and he's just a pretty huge monster overall. But guess what? Turn 1. Didn't even know that Nidoqueen could get Focus Blast, so that takes me down 1 hit. So I've got a good old 5v6 going on here immediately. So taking that special attack, I just switch into Blissey, hoping that I can try to soak up whatever she's going to do next, kind of stall it out and get some momentum back on my side. I do set up the Stealth Rocks. I don't know if she's going to switch, knowing that Blissey's a pretty big tank, but I can't paralyze the Nidoqueen, obviously, because she is ground type. So I am going to get hit by the Sandstorm I put up myself, which kind of sucks. It's basically just canceling out my leftovers right now, but she is going to set up her own layer of Stealth Rocks, which is pretty cool. We got a lot of floating rocks around here. So I am going to take that turn to just set up a Soft Boil, get my HP back up to 100, and take some damage from the Sandstorm. Obviously Nidoqueen isn't taking any damage because she is also a ground type, but she's not getting the special defense boost because she's not a rock type specifically. So I'm still in here seeing if she's going to switch, and I think she's just testing out how much damage she can do with each of her individual attacks. The Focus Blast takes me down to a little more than half, and I can just safely use a Seismic Toss, throw Nidoqueen into space and right back down to Earth. And I'm still sitting pretty at a little over half, maybe like 60% of my HP. This turn, Nidoqueen does go for the Sludge Wave. I'm not sure if she has Sheer Force, but if not, she might have been going for the Poison here. Because poisoning Blissey is actually a pretty good idea. I would have to switch to get rid of that. But I don't get poisoned. It might have been because Sheer Force, might have been because 10%. I'm not really sure. But she does just try out the Earth Power, see if maybe a different stab move can do any more damage to Blissey than the others, and it actually doesn't. It seems like Focus Blast is the best option here. So I do just go for another Seismic Toss, and I've got her down to a little less than half, maybe like 40% of her HP. And maybe the next Seismic Toss would have taken it out. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have, but she does switch into the Sharpedo here. Physical attacker, much better for taking on Blissey. She does switch into another Seismic Toss, so with the rocks and the Seismic Toss, Sharpedo's going to be down at a little more than half of its HP. And I'm just going to sit here eating my old apple, or whatever the actual picture is for leftovers these days. And I bring in my Ramses, the good old Cofagrigus here. I do take some stones damage, but I was pretty sure she was going to try to protect, set up some speed boosts. And I do assume that she has Crunch. It's a pretty good stab for Sharpedo here. But I know I can take at least one being fully physically defensive, and that will let me get up a burn, and my Mummy ability would get rid of her speed boost. But she actually goes for a second Protect, which actually works. It's like a 50% chance at this point, which is fine. She gets another speed boost. I'm not really worried about the speed at this point. I'm just trying to get off the burn, so that actually just lets me get up to 100% HP. As she actually goes for the Ice Fang. I don't know why. I'm actually not sure if she had Crunch at all. But the Ice Fang does like almost nothing. I'm fully defensive. And it does let me get up a Will-O-Wisp on the Sharpedo here, which is pretty nice. This guy can get kind of scary. I think she does have the Mega Form too. So having its attack with the burn is actually super helpful, and it can't get the speed boosts anymore. So she does go Mega, I wasn't sure if Mummy would actually stay through the Mega Evolution, but I don't think it does, because she goes for Psychic Fangs here, and it does a little more, but I get the Mummy off again, so that kind of confirmed that Mega Evolution does turn back into your regular ability. So it's actually way better for me, because now I got rid of the Strong Jaw, so she's right back down to half of her HP after everything, and I can set up a layer of Toxic Spikes, just trying to get some hazards on the field, kind of throw some status around her team, because I'm not trying to fight a uphill battle here. So at this point she does bring in the Hydreigon, one of my favorite names. It's super clever, like German, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But anyway, I set up another layer of the Toxic Spikes, and obviously Hydreigon's not going to be poisoned because it has the Levitate ability. So it is going to take the Stealth Rocks damage, and it's pretty much just a free layer of spikes for me. So I do switch back out into Blissey. I assume it's a special attacking Hydreigon here, as she actually goes for the Z Tectonic Smash Strike, Z Earthquake, I guess. Maybe Earth Power. I wasn't actually sure. I'm pretty sure later on in the match I did see that she has Earthquake, so it might have been Earthquake, might have been Earth Power. Not really sure. Either way, Blissey takes it pretty nicely. It does do more than I expected, which is what made me believe it might have been Earthquake in the first place. But it does a pretty good chunk of damage. I'm sure it's less than Kaitlin thought it would do, but it actually did more than I thought it was going to do, so that wasn't too good for me. But she does pull through there, and next turn Kaitlin does go for the Draco Meteor, which I was pretty sure I could survive, and I really needed that special attack drop because I was not looking forward to facing this Hydreigon here. So I do go for the Soft Boiled, and it does go off pretty well. I had 69 HP lol, and I actually get back up to more than 3/4 of my HP, and with the special attack drop on the Hydreigon side, it's pretty good for me right here. So she does go for the Fire Blast, which does like absolutely nothing after the reduction. Which just lets me get off a free Thunder Wave here. Paralyzing this thing's pretty good. I know it can be on the faster side, but either way, Paralysis is going to help me. It's better than any of the other status options I have. So she does go for the Earthquake here. I'm pretty sure that it is her only ground move, and it is doing pretty well against Blissey. I am fully special defensive and physically defensive, but I have like the worst base physical defense, so it's actually doing pretty good damage. I do go for the Seismic Toss and does another 50, and she goes for another Earthquake, which brings me down to a little less than 1/3 of my HP. As that turn, I do go for another Soft Boiled, and this is just like the worst. Like, I'm sure everybody hates Blissey, but everybody is just getting these crazy stall turns, and they just can't stop Blissey. Or I like switch into Cofagrigus, and it's just the worst. So she's feeling this also, and decides to U-turn out into Celesteela. I know this guy can get Leech Seed, and I'm really not about to allow Celesteela to get a Leech Seed up on Blissey. That would give everybody like 1/4 of their HP back every single turn. So she does switch into the Seismic Toss, and with the rocks, it's going to bring it down to about 2/3 of its HP after the recovery. And there's no way I'm keeping Blissey in here. So I do switch out into Heatran. If this guy gets seeded, it's fine. He can eat flamethrowers, and like Air Slash and Heavy Slams aren't really going to do anything to this guy at all. And I'm pretty sure I can one-hit KO with a Lava Plume if she doesn't switch out. So I switch in Heatran. He takes the Air Slash pretty well, and we both have leftovers, so it's kind of an even HP battle here. I do end up going for the Taunt. I just wanted to see if she would switch, and if she didn't switch, I wanted to see if she would Leech Seed. But she actually ends up going for the Earthquake, which I didn't expect at all. I expected her to have some sort of recovery here. So Heatran does go down to that ×4 weakness, and unfortunately that does get her a beast boost, which raises her defense, which is super surprising. Usually these things are specially defensive, but that just reinforces my desire to go full stall on Kaitlin here. So I bring in my Coffee Grigas. If she hits me with a physical move, I can get rid of her Beast Boost for the whole game, which is pretty awesome for me. But she does switch out into the Clay Doll here. It does avoid my Will-O-Wisp, which kind of sucks. I was trying to just get some chip damage off, negate the leftovers it's holding, but it does miss, and it's not the biggest deal. I'm not exactly sure what this thing could go for, so I kind of just stayed in, seeing what kind of attack it would go for. It does go for the Shadow Ball. I have like no special defense, but with my full HP investment and Clay Doll's not very high special attack, I do eat that pretty well, and it lets me just get off the burn I wanted before again. So it's burned. We're both taking leftovers, and it's a pretty good deal here. She does go for the Rapid Spin. I assume she thought I would switch, and I actually thought she would go for another Shadow Ball. So I go for the Pain Split, hoping to bring us down to about half each after the Shadow Ball. But of course the Rapid Spin just goes right through me, and my Pain Split only makes me up like maybe 10 HP or something. It's not very much at all. So now at this point she does Shadow Ball, and it does a decent amount. I go for the Hex because I don't know if she's planning to stay in here, but the Hex is going to be super effective, and with the burn it's actually going to do quite a bit of damage. It brings her down into the red even after the leftovers healing, and my leftovers actually bring me slightly above half as well. So no matter what, this thing is going to go down next turn as long as it stays in, and I think Kaitlin knows that. So I do try to use this opportunity to switch in. I end up switching out into my Sanic, just assuming that she was also going to switch, but she ends up going for the Shadow Ball anyway. I guess try to do whatever damage she can before it goes down. But I can take that pretty well. My special defense is pretty decent. I've got hundreds all around. So it doesn't do that much. And she's sitting in here, pretty low HP. She does switch out, trying to save him for later. I assume she wants to try and Rapid Spin the Hazards and the Stealth Rocks and the Toxic Spikes away. So I do go for a Giga Drain, assuming she was just going to sack him off, but she actually does save him. So this Giga Drain isn't going to do anything to Celesteal. This guy's special defense is crazy, and he's ×4 resistant to that. So I'm barely going to recover anything. I actually take more damage with my Life Orb than I heal with Giga Drain. So that's not going to happen. I'm going to switch back out into Blissey. I know I can take any special attack this guy wants to throw at me, and if he wants to go for an Earthquake, I'm pretty sure I can take that too. So I switch into an Air Slash, and yeah, it doesn't even bring me down lower than half, and with the leftovers, it was basically a free switch in. So he gets his leftovers off as well, and we're sitting here, pretty good stall game. I do want to go for a Soft Boil, just get me back up to 100%, just in case he does have Heavy Slam or tries to Earthquake again. I'm pretty sure at this point that he doesn't have Leech Seed, so he does go for the Heavy Slam, and it actually does not as much as I thought it would be, considering it's a physical move. But I take that pretty well, and it's pretty much just a free turn for me to do whatever I feel like doing here. So I do go for the Thunder Wave. This guy's already pretty slow, but I figure if I can get the Para Hacks at least once, it'll just be a free turn for me to heal or switch out or something. And if I have anything else on the team that might be slower than this guy, it'll help out a lot. So she does go for the Earthquake here, and after leftovers, I'm a little more than half. And I am faster at this point. So I know I can get a Soft Boiled off, or I can just try to Seismic Toss him down. And I decided to just Seismic Toss. I know I can heal if he gets me down too low and faster, but he actually gets Para-Haxed here, which kind of sucks. So the Seismic Toss goes off pretty well, and I know that I can just keep knocking this guy down. His defenses and beast boosts and everything don't matter. So I'm just going to keep doing this until he brings me low enough to the point where I have to Soft Boiled again. but he actually gets parahexed one more time, which is really unfortunate. In the long run, it doesn't really matter, but right now, in the moment, not having 2 turns is a really unfortunate thing. So I just go for a 3rd seismic toss, just bring it down quite a bit, and he finally does get 2 earthquake and brings me down. Not as much as I thought again, but I'm still faster, so it doesn't actually matter in the long run here. If I really need to, I can soft boil, or I could even switch out. But I don't want him to get within the ability to survive a seismic toss with the leftovers. But he ends up switching out anyway into the Mimikyu, which is not good for me because I think I do end up seismic tossing here, which just doesn't affect Mimikyu whatsoever. So I know this guy's going to be annoying. It actually is kind of detrimental for me that it got poisoned because I can't paralyze it now and prevent it from trying to sweep. But it does go for the Thunder, which is really strange. Not sure why Mimikyu gets Thunder in the first place, and I definitely don't think she was trying to hit Blissey with Thunder. Probably some sort of switch in. But I do get the soft boiled up to get me back up to 100%, and at this point I can just stall out the Mimikyu. As long as it's not trying to Swords Dance, I can just wait for the poison to take it down. But I do switch into my physical wall anyway. I know that Blissey's going to be more useful in the end, so I can just get rid of Ramses here if I need to. I knew that the Disguise wouldn't be affected by Mummy. You can't get rid of Disguise, you can't trace Disguise, you can't like skill swap Disguise. So I knew it wasn't going to be taking the Mummy ability, but I figured I can just let it hit me twice, get some life orb damage, and let it take the crazy poison damage, which it does. And even though Koffagrigus does go down, it does kill itself to poison here. So that's just one more down to the status. She does end up switching out the Hydreigon again, and I use this opportunity to switch into my Zygarde 10% here for the first time in the battle. This is a pretty good matchup for me. She does get the Stealth Rocks damage, brings her down to less than half, and I know that a 1,000 arrows can take it down. I think 1,000 arrows did like about 80% of its HP, so that is going to take it down regardless of the Stealth Rock damage here. And I'm definitely faster, especially with the paralysis. So she does bring out the Sharpedo here, and I know that this guy can take me down with Ice Fangs. I thought that maybe with the Mummy and with the Burn, I didn't calc anything in this game. Been trying to just take it easy. But I thought with the Mummy getting rid of the Strong Jaw and the Burn, I might be able to take a single Ice Fangs. And so I decided to just set up a Dragon Dance. It actually didn't end up working. I am sort of defensively invested, so it does end up taking me out in the end anyway. But I'm glad I tried it. Needed to know anyway. So I just switch back out into Sanic here, and I know I can take this thing down with any of my grass moves whatsoever, and the Ice Fang actually isn't going to do very much, so I'm free to go for a Giga Drain here, take it down the rest of the way, and heal up about as much as the Life Orb was going to do to me afterwards anyway. So that's one Mega down. I think I've only brought my Mega like one game. Yeah, I don't think I've even brought it very much. But she does switch back out into the Nidoqueen here, which is going to get rid of my Toxic Spikes because it's Poison type on the ground. I expected Giga Drain to kill. I was kind of hoping, or I was definitely hoping that it would, because I knew this thing could take me down with a Sludge Wave, or maybe if it had Flamethrower. I don't think it did. I think we saw all 4 of its moves. But she does get taken out, and the Celesteela comes back in here. I was super surprised that Celesteela survived this Giga Drain. I thought even at ×4 resistance, I know it's not, it's more physically defensive than specially defensive, and I thought with my Life Orb I'd be able to take it down here. But what was even more surprising was that a second Giga Drain still didn't take it down. or sorry, a Seed Flare, still didn't take it down. So this thing is like bananas strong defensively, and I almost take myself out to Life Orb here, and when she does Air Slash, it is going to take me out, but that's crazy. Like a Giga Drain and a Seed Flare off of like 5, maybe 10% HP Celesteela still didn't get taken down, even with the leftovers. That just blows my mind. But she does take out the Shaman, and I am free to switch into Blissey again. I know at this point there's absolutely nothing she can do against Blissey, so I can really just sit here, click Seismic Toss, and just take out the rest of whatever she's going to bring out. So it does take out the Celesteela, and I'm going to heal up pretty well after the Seismic Toss. And all she's got left here is the Clay Doll, who is going to take some Stealth Rocks damage, and even if my Seismic Toss here somehow didn't go off, the burn would take it out anyway. But yeah, I do go for the Seismic Toss, and it is going to take down the Clay Doll super effectively. Not literally, like, you know, very effectively. So that was a good battle. I was definitely taken aback by a few of the surprises here. It was super fun, and hoping we can play again at some point in the future. Keep watching our draft league here. We have about 14 weeks. This is week 6, so yeah, we have about 8 more weeks before the finals begin. So yeah, keep on watching, and we'll see you next time.